On a deadly night filled with fire and smoke, one loyal dog risked everything to save his owner. The brave everyone sought the burning house for final rescue. This heroic dog escaped death once, but then he heard a tiny cry trapped inside the fire. What happened next shocked the entire neighborhood and changed his life forever. He saved his owner, saved a helpless kitten, and nearly lost his own life doing it. But the heartbreaking truth doctors revealed afterward left everyone completely speechless. The fire took away this dog's eyesight forever, but it could never take away his courage.
On a cold
This emotional
and rainy
true
night,
story proves
the
that real
entire
heroes
neighborhood
don't need
slept
eyes to see
peacefully.
love.
But inside one quiet house, danger was already growing in silence. No one could see the smoke creeping through the darkness, except one loyal dog who sensed that something terrible was about to happen. David lived a simple life with only one true companion, his German Shepherd, Rex. They were more than owner and pet. They were family. Every night ended the same way, with Rex guarding the man who had once rescued him from the streets years ago. Suddenly, Rex lifted his head. Something felt wrong. The air smelled strange, dangerous. His ears rose, his eyes locked toward the kitchen, and his instincts screamed that every second now mattered more than ever before. While David slept peacefully, smoke slowly spread through the kitchen. The fire was small for now, almost invisible, but growing stronger every second. The silent danger moved closer and closer toward the living room. Rex barked desperately and pulled David's shirt with his teeth. This wasn't normal behavior. He wasn't playing. He was trying to save the only person he loved before it became too late. Without warning, a loud explosion shattered the silence of the night. Flames burst through the kitchen, filling the house with fire and smoke. In just seconds, David's peaceful home became a deadly trap. Terrified and confused, David stared at the flames surrounding him. Smoke filled his lungs as panic took over. But beside him stood Rex, fearless, alert, and ready to risk everything to save his owner's life. Rain tapped softly against the windows while the old house stood quietly in the darkness. Everything looked peaceful from outside, but hidden deep inside the kitchen, a disaster had already begun to grow. After a long day at work, David relaxed beside Rex in the warm living room. He had no idea this normal night would soon turn into the most terrifying moment of his entire life. Even while resting, Rex stayed alert. His sharp senses noticed something humans couldn't detect yet. The smell of burning wires drifted through the air, and the loyal dog instantly knew danger was near. Inside the kitchen, smoke slowly curled upward from a faulty electrical outlet. The fire quietly spread behind the cabinets, becoming stronger with every passing second while the sleeping owner remained unaware. Rex barked louder and louder, trying desperately to wake David. The dog's fear was growing rapidly. He knew that if his owner didn't move now, both of them could die inside the burning house. The fire suddenly exploded across the kitchen walls. Flames climbed toward the ceiling as sparks flew everywhere. The heat became unbearable, turning the once peaceful home into a terrifying nightmare. David's heart pounded as thick smoke surrounded him. The exits were disappearing behind walls of fire. In that horrifying moment, only one living creature inside the house still knew exactly what to do. Blinded by smoke, David struggled to breathe while Rex guided him through the burning hallway. Every step became harder as the fire spread faster, trapping them deeper inside the collapsing house. Crawling across the floor, David followed the sound of Rex's barking. Smoke burned his lungs while flames crackled above them. Survival now depended completely on the brave dog leading the way forward. Suddenly, a massive burning beam crashed from the ceiling. Sparks exploded through the hallway as the entire house trembled violently. The escape path nearly disappeared in front of their eyes. David screamed in pain as his leg became trapped beneath the heavy burning wood. Fire surrounded him from every direction. For one terrifying moment, it felt impossible for him to escape alive. Ignoring the flames around him, Rex pushed against the burning beam with all his strength. Again and again, the loyal dog fought desperately, refusing to abandon the man who meant everything to him. With one final effort, David pulled himself free. Injured and terrified, He stumbled beside Rex toward the front door while the house continued collapsing behind them in flames and smoke. Just as Freedom stood only steps away, Rex suddenly stopped. Through the roaring fire, he heard something tiny, weak cries coming from inside the burning kitchen. Someone else was still trapped. David screamed in horror as Rex turned back toward the flames. The brave dog didn't hesitate for even a second. He had heard the trapped kitten crying somewhere inside the deadly fire. Without fear, Rex disappeared back into the burning house. Smoke swallowed his body completely as the flames grew larger. Outside, David could only watch helplessly, praying his loyal companion would survive. Fire trucks rushed into the neighborhood, while flashing lights painted the streets red and blue. Firefighters jumped into action immediately, but even they could see the flames were becoming uncontrollable. Standing in the rain, David watched his home burn while tears filled his eyes. He had already escaped death once tonight, but now the dog who saved him was trapped inside the inferno. The fire roared violently through the collapsing house. Windows shattered, wood cracked apart, and smoke filled the sky. Every second that passed made Rex's chances of survival smaller and smaller. Then suddenly, through the smoke and fire, Rex appeared carrying the tiny kitten safely in his mouth. The crowd stood frozen in shock as the heroic dog emerged from the flames alive. After saving the kitten, Rex collapsed onto the wet ground. His fur was badly burned, and his breathing became weaker with every second. The brave hero had given everything he had to save another life. Rain poured over the flashing emergency lights, while firefighters surrounded the burnt house. The night felt cold, heavy, and heartbreaking as everyone waited to see whether the heroic dog would survive. David fell to his knees beside Rex, tears mixing with the rain on his face. The loyal dog who had saved him now lay motionless on the ground, barely breathing after the terrible fire. Firefighters worked desperately to revive Rex. They performed CPR while smoke still drifted through the air around them. Every person standing nearby silently prayed the brave dog would wake up again. Nearby, the little girl hugged her rescued kitten tightly while crying uncontrollably. She understood something heartbreaking. The dog who saved her pet might lose his own life because of his bravery. Rex lay completely still, his burned fur soaked by the rain. The once powerful German Shepherd looked weak and fragile now, yet everyone around him knew they were witnessing true courage. Just when hope seemed lost, one firefighter noticed Rex's paw move slightly. Everyone froze in disbelief. The smallest sign of life suddenly brought hope back into the dark and heartbreaking night. Rex finally coughed weakly and began breathing again. David broke down in tears of relief, holding his loyal friend close while emergency teams rushed the injured dog toward the animal hospital. Inside the quiet hospital waiting room, David sat alone through the long night. Every passing minute felt unbearable as he waited desperately for news about the dog who had saved his life. When the veterinarian finally appeared, her serious expression immediately filled David with fear. Rex had survived the fire, but something had gone terribly wrong during the rescue. Weak and exhausted, Rex rested on the veterinary bed, surrounded by machines and medical equipment. His body had survived the flames, but the damage caused by smoke was far more dangerous than expected. The terrible truth soon became clear. Rex could no longer see. The fire and smoke had permanently damaged his eyesight, leaving the heroic dog trapped in complete darkness forever. David sat beside Rex with tears in his eyes, overwhelmed by guilt and heartbreak. The loyal dog had sacrificed everything without hesitation simply to protect the people he loved most. Although blind, Rex still recognized David's scent immediately. His tail moved weakly for the first time since the fire, proving that even darkness could never destroy their bond together. Holding Rex tightly, David promised he would never abandon him. Just as the brave dog had once saved his owner from death, David now vowed to stand beside Rex for the rest of his life. Life became difficult after the accident. Blind and confused, Rex carefully learned how to move through the house again, while David stayed beside him every step of the way. David transformed the entire house to help Rex feel safe. Furniture was moved, dangerous corners were removed, and new walking paths were created so the loyal dog could slowly adapt again. He first. Rex struggled constantly. He bumped into walls, missed steps, and became frightened easily. But despite the darkness surrounding him, he never stopped trying to move forward courageously. Every day, David patiently trained Rex in the backyard. Slowly, the brave German shepherd regained confidence, learning to trust his hearing, smell, and the comforting voice of his owner. When Rex finally returned to the public park, people immediately recognized the heroic dog from the news. Strangers stopped to admire the brave animal who risked everything to save innocent lives. The little girl, whose kitten Rex rescued, wrapped her arms gently around him. Even though Rex could no longer see her smile, he happily wagged his tail after hearing her loving voice again. As the sun slowly set, David sat quietly beside Rex in the peaceful park. Together they watched the golden sky fade into darkness, stronger than ever after surviving unimaginable tragedy together. The scars on Rex's face told a story of pain, sacrifice, and courage. Though the fire stole his eyesight forever, it could never take away the bravery hidden inside his heart. Resting peacefully beside David, Rex no longer needed perfect vision to understand love. Their bond had survived fire, fear, and heartbreak, becoming stronger than either of them ever imagined possible. Together, David and Rex faced a future forever changed by tragedy. But even after losing everything familiar, they still had each other. And sometimes, that is enough to survive anything. The tiny kitten slept safely beside the dog who nearly died, saving her life. Every life inside that burning house survived because one brave German shepherd refused to give up. Even blind, Rex stood proudly beneath the sunset like a true warrior. His eyes could no longer see the world, but his courage continued inspiring everyone who heard his incredible story. Some heroes wear uniforms. Others simply have loyal hearts. And on one terrifying night filled with fire and fear, a brave German shepherd named Rex proved that love is stronger than fear itself.